Jeanne, in your book, you mentioned, I'm going to share a quick quote with our listeners, but you mentioned focusing on the human side of the change process while also teaching the practical skills necessary for individuals to reach their goal. What exactly do you mean by the human side, and how important is that in change?
Well, in general, changes focus on people and their processes. So there are human sides, the facilitators, to the change teams, to the community or organization that are going to benefit from the change. So in the book, we share a variety of techniques for preparing these groups for planning and implementation. For instance, the facilitator. A facilitator needs to observe carefully and listen deeply and reflect and conduct the meetings neutrally. And so we share ideas about how to go about getting ready to go into a meeting with a calm and open mind that you can use to make that happen. And one of the anecdotes I shared was the one time I didn't do this and what happened. Now, fortunately, it was a team of people that I worked with that I had been working with for some time, so we had good rapport. And at some point they said, Jeanne, you're not yourself. What's going on? And, it was basically somebody right before my meeting came in and said, one of your former students passed away. And I was so shook that I was not calm and prepared. Now, fortunately, that team was at the point where they were starting to want to develop their own internal facilitators so that they could be a sustainable group and continue on. And so it was a perfect opportunity for them. And so we worked out a way to make that happen. But that was the facilitator. To recruit and retain team members from within your organization or your community, to build rapport among the team members, that takes attention to the human side. Also, I don't know if you're familiar with David Rock, but he has a model where he talks about the human needs. People need a sense of status, certainty that they have some control or predictability over the future, a sense of autonomy, relatedness. How do they connect with others in the group or the community? And a sense of fairness, that the exchanges between people are going to be fair.
Yeah.
And finally, for the beneficiaries of change, we really need to be aware of their readiness. Not everybody is ready for a change. As a matter of fact, that's the source of resistance, that people may not be motivated to make that change. And you mentioned earlier, that could be because they've not felt included or had their concerns acknowledged. So those are all issues that have to be attended to in the process of change.
Well said. We talk about all the time, Jeanne, this idea of the triad in our business, which is people, process, and technology. And in our world, you need all three. You can't be successful without. And I think that the people piece is just incredibly invaluable, and really understanding that dynamic. And, I think at the end of the day, you talk about the human side because we're all human. and we all have, emotions, and like you'd mentioned, we have various levels of readiness, motivation, knowledge. We all have various levels of different, maybe environmental constraints preventing our ability to really understand and kind of move things forward. So very important point.